Hello and welcome to my channel. I don't know how well you can hear this just because of the wind. This afternoon I'm going to demonstrate a high wind setup. Probably not that high, about 20 miles an hour. High wind setup of a Hilleberg Soulo. I have the tent already pegged out and the poles assembled. I don't think there's really much to be gained by me showing you how to do that. Fairly challenging conditions just because of the rain. My camera's not waterproof, so if it rains too much I'll have to just abandon this and we'll maybe pick it up at some point later on. Okay, here we go. At this stage I'm fully inserting the pole into the external pole sleeve. And these poles are DAC 9mm poles. The key thing about this is making sure that the poles go right down into the very, very bottom so that the pole is correctly seated in the pole sleeve itself. So I place this pole here, which is the side pole there, and I place it over the top of the other two main poles that are running along the length of the tent. I feel that there's just actually slightly less tension on the clips whenever you do this. And what I've done here is I've just wrapped the guy line around the pole so that it's directly guyed to the pole and the poles are held very, very firm. And these guy lines have a breaking strain of 80 kilograms, so they're really, really seriously strong. And the idea here is just to go around the tent so that you're clipping the tent almost in a circular fashion, so that one end of the tent isn't highly clipped and the other end is kind of clipped from the bottom. So you're clipping the tent from the bottom up and moving around the tent itself so that you're clipping at equal height on all poles as you go around. Just switched view here, as you can see, by pretty much 180 degrees. And finally here I'm just putting this sort of, I would call it the hood, just over the tent, which means that you can vent underneath the tent and reduce condensation, because this hood protects the sort of venting area from rain and wind penetration. Again, just finally guying the poles out directly here. So the tent now is pretty much set up and very, very stable. This setup was done in the Mourne Mountains, and the mountain that you're looking at now is Slieve Burna, which is 749 metres. The forecast for Slieve Burna this evening was 70 mile an hour gusts with 50 mile an hour sort of steady wind. So it's hard to know sometimes just exactly what the wind speed will be when you're pitched a bit below that, although the site was definitely very exposed. And as here's just looking down towards a town called Castlewellan. The one thing I would say about the Hilleberg tents, and certainly any ones that I've used, is that the inner's not particularly taut and it does flap around an awful lot in the wind. So maybe if you've picked up from this shot, I'm actually in a different location, so I just decided it was so windy, I was going to get no sleep at all. Tent was completely fine in the wind, but I just decided, you know what, I'm going to take the tent down and pitch it somewhere a little bit more sheltered, and ended up I got a great night's sleep, so it was a good decision.